Hey fam, how's everybody doing? My name is Matt Anderson. I'm the Assistant Director for Residence Life here at Utah State.
My name's Kian Jansen. I am the Assistant Director in Dining Services.
All right, today we're going to talk about on-campus housing and dining, but also more than that, we're going to kind of dive into what residence life is. For your student who lives on campus, there's there's actually three services we're going to talk about: dining, housing, and then residence life, and how we can work to support your student while they live with us on campus, and kind of understand the differentiation between the three of us, but also know that we all work together to essentially help your students experience while they're while they're away from home and while they're here with us the best that it possibly can be.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it.
Let's see. So while your students here, they're obviously going to be living with us on campus in one of the residence halls, one of the communities on campus. Are also more than likely going to be eating with us in the dining locations, and we have so many different variations of those as well. We're going to talk about the differentiation between housing and residence life, because for me to explain to you what residence life is, you have no idea probably what it is, and the services that we provide for your students is very much like a wide variety of things that we're able to offer your student as they're here with us on campus.
Coming to college with high meal expectations? Don't be fooled.
No.
Are your meal expectations not meeting your reality? Let your meal expectations become your reality at USU Dining Services.
Awesome. Yeah, in that video, we see the expectation that students are going to have all the time in the world to spend cooking a fantastic meal. In reality, that's never really the case, maybe occasionally. But in dining services, our mission is to create an excellent college experience. So we want to help them avoid spilling ramen and other things on their homework as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. As Keenan was talking about, the thing that takes a lot of time is cooking. And one of the concerns that a lot of us parents have probably is like, what are we going to do for dinner at the end of a very, very busy day? Our students are the same. What am I going to do for dinner, like in and around all of the stressors of testing and studying and all the social aspects? And it's really, really cool that they can go to the dining hall and not have to worry about it and get a complete and like all they can eat in some of those
Yeah,
locations.
and a good healthy meal rather than just ramen or
That's true.
peanut butter sandwiches.
Yes. Or a combination of the two of those
Yes,
things, which,
yes.
get creative, I guess. Okay, so as we walk through the differences between housing services and residence life, housing services is the business side of what we do on campus. So they're the individuals you're going to be working with to do contract questions, sign up for housing, paying, making payments to for your rent in the apartments and things like that. They maintain the buildings and things like that. So if there's something broken within the residence hall, they're really, really awesome at coming in and fixing those things. And our students and our residents and your students can put in work orders and say, hey, this thing is broken, it needs fixed, and they can come into the room and go ahead and take care of that. It's really, really awesome. So housing takes care of all the business side of things, the contract side of things, and residence life is all of the people. So we work with your student directly. So we provide the transitional support for your student as they come up to campus, trying to help them have the best experience possible. They stay with us on campus is something that we want to do. So something we also do very much a lot of the time is mediate roommate conflicts and help mediate roommate conflicts, because we as human beings, we don't like to have awkward conversations. I think that's multiplied like by a lot when you're living with like, 4, 6, 8 other people and they're stealing your cereal or using the toilet paper or whatever it may be.
Not washing their dishes.
And not washing the dishes. Yes, exactly. Conflicts will definitely arise. And what our student staff members are here, we have 100+ student employees, resident assistants who are here to support your student and help them navigate some of those really, really hard conversations. Clarifying, we're not here to have those conversations on behalf of your resident or for your student. We're here to help them navigate that, whether that be like, let's talk about how you can approach this with your residents. And if it gets too complicated, we'll definitely pull in our professional staff members who are also here to support and help that. We're here to help teach conflict resolution skills. Again, we're here to kind of help them develop their person as they're here developing and getting their degrees in whatever it is they choose to do.
I think that's really important that you're teaching skills, not just fixing the problem. We all need more help getting better at those things, and conflict resolution, all of that. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you as a parent to your student, when they call you at 3 a.m. and say, hey, I'm really, really struggling with my roommate, there's a lot going on. One thing that you can definitely ask them, a lot of things you're going to ask them, but have you talked to your resident assistant? Because they can definitely support and help you through that. And what can that look like for sure? So you can direct them to that source of resource, or that source of help for sure. We're also providing leadership, learning, and involvement opportunities. There's so many tremendous opportunities to get involved, both in dining and in residence life on campus. And we're here to kind of create a well-rounded opportunity and experience, like a home away from home, as it were. So supporting all aspects of that life experience within the residence halls and then building that community.
Yeah, and one of the great things about living on campus, just from our experience and the studies and things that we've done, people who live on campus, eat on campus, they have a higher GPA. They consistently have higher GPAs than people that are living off campus, just because they can spend more time, focusing on school rather than focusing on conflict resolution and cooking and cleaning and all those kinds of things. It also increases the retention rates and just in general makes them more likely to graduate, which of course is the purpose of being here. That's why we want to help them to achieve that goal. That's why we're here too, is really to help them to do that. And of course, the having the meal plan helps with all of that, including food insecurity as well. We want to make sure that they have food, but also they're getting good food and they don't have to worry about what they're eating. They always just have a place they can go eat. And to help them also create a community. We want them to feel like this is their home away from home. We want their experience in the dining halls to feel like their kitchen away from home, that they can go and have whatever they want. And they can also, have fun with their friends and socialize as well.
As part of the resources that we have available to us as well, when your student comes to campus, if we take a poll of a lot of the students, incoming first year students, and ask them what is their biggest concern when they get here, it's less often like, I don't know, like if I'm going to pass my classes, I'm really worried about that. It's like, how am I going to make friends? How am I going to fit in?
Yep.
Like that is such a tremendous worry for a lot, if not a majority of
Absolutely.
the first year students that are coming in, and for everybody, kind of like, where are we going to fit into the process? So, and as Kean mentioned, like the more that they can get involved in the communities and in the dining halls, the more likely they're going to have a better experience and want to persist to graduation, as Kean just said. There's so many tremendous opportunities within each one of the residence halls. The resident assistants are putting on like weekly and monthly initiatives and events for the students to go to, the residents to go to building those communities. And if your student is one who likes to put on large scale events or like spend their creative energies in creating awesome opportunities, there are definitely opportunities for them to get involved within their community and help their resident assistants plan large scale events and things like that. There is an organization called the Residence Hall Association. It's kind of like student government for everybody who lives on campus. So they get to, if they want to run for president or run for a leadership position, they can really have a tremendous impact within their community and make changes and plan those events that they really want to do. And the more likely they're going to do that, if they do that, they're going to have like just statistically speaking, a higher chance to get higher grades and be engaged and just have a better time and at the end of the day graduate, which is why we're all here, right?
Yep.
So
That's our purpose.
let's see. That slide says support systems. All right, excellent. A lot of the support systems that we have on campus come within the support staff that we have. I mentioned before we have 100 plus resident assistants that work with us. We have 15 full-time professional staff members within the residence halls. There is somebody on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that we can support and help students through those challenging things when they come up, because we know that crisis happens. It doesn't happen 9 to 5. It happens, at 3 a.m. When it's snowing outside and at the most inopportune times, right? We get to see and be with your student through those really, really great times and the really, really not so great times. And we're here to help support them throughout. We have a resident assistants doing academic support programs and kind of like around the times when students are registering for classes, they often will kind of put on an event to say, hey, everybody, let's come to the student lounge and let's all register for our classes together. And also like, here's some awesome food that you can have while doing that. So we're definitely here to help support them and point them to the resources that they need. Like if they need to talk to advisors, if they need to talk to their professors, if whatever they may look like, we can help point them in the right direction and can help them help connect them with those resources. And again, resident involvement and engagement, it's connecting residents to campus clubs, leadership services opportunities. There is something for everybody, and whatever your student's passionate about,
Mhm.
something exists here. There's a club on campus.
There's
that
some
they
kind
can-
of community.
Right. If they're
Absolutely.
into Dungeons and Dragons,
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty positive there's a Dungeons and Dragons club on
There's
campus.
one that actually hangs out near my office over at the junction. so.
Absolutely. Ultimate Frisbee, you name it.
Yep.
Sports, like there's something for everybody, and we're definitely here to connect them and help them have a phenomenal experience while they're here with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the other support systems, we kind of already talked about how the residence life staff help with life skills, communication, assertiveness, conflict resolution, those kinds of things. And they're always there to help anytime, like we said, any time of day. We also have some support systems in dining service as well to help with the students' concerns. Specifically, we really try to focus on helping anyone with any kind of dietary concerns. There's a lot of different allergies out there, and it can be really hard for us to satisfy those needs, but we really do what we can to make sure everyone can eat and that they have access to food. One of the things that we can do is actually have your student sit down with one of our staff. She's actually a dietitian, but she can help them know where they should be eating and what kind of things they should be maybe staying away from some of the dining halls or other locations as well. It's a great resource if your student needs it. And then, one of the things like we talked about, having a meal plan living on campus, you really can give your student the gift of time. Obviously they don't have to worry about commuting and parking and stuff, but then as far as, the shopping and the cooking and the meal prep and the cleaning and all of that stuff, they have all the time. They have so much more time to hang out with their friends, but also more importantly to study and do the things that they're here to do. So it really is a great resource for your student.
Support systems again, right? Okay. Let's see. So creating, we know and understand that like a lot of those relationships are going to be built around food, right? At the end of the day, we see, for the first few days, there's like when we go into the dining halls, we see like people who are like, there's no tables open up, even though there's one person sitting at each table. As like the week progresses, like they're all sitting together, they're pulling tables together, they're sitting really, really building that community together, which is really awesome to see.
Yeah.
And we kind of do that same thing within the within the residence halls, within those communities, like building and strengthening those relationships they have with each other. And another support service that we do have is we have embedded therapists. We have 3 embedded therapists within our residence halls that have 3 offices right within the buildings. So in the event that the students need to talk to somebody about whatever it is they got going on, they can make an appointment to do that. And if they're struggling and they really need someone to talk to, there are after hours, there's like an emergency number that they can talk to. These embedded therapists, they work well into the evening because we understand the college student schedules, like they're in school, like they got first, second, third jobs, and it is busy,
And I
right?
like to stay up late.
Yes, and wake up late or early, whatever, there's a gamut, there's an array of what they do, but there's somebody who can definitely, that they can connect with when they're in crisis. If they're really, really struggling, need to talk to somebody, we have those resources available to help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is, it's one of those things that's really helpful, unfortunately, that we need, but it can be really helpful and really good for the students.
Some of the things that you're going to be able to do, and your student specifically is going to be able to do, is utilize the move-in portal on the housing website. So the housing portal is going to be your student's best friend. They can do a lot of stuff on that. We encourage your student to sign up for a specific time to move in here in a few short weeks or whenever you watch this. Like they need to, it's very encouraged for them to sign up for a very specific time to move in. That will help you and your student have a much less stressful time because there's hundreds of students moving in at the same time. So that's not required. You can come up here and move in without having signed up, but it will definitely expedite the process and help everybody have a more organized and better experience. So they can also check their roommate information. So they can get on there and they can look to see who their roommates are. Something that's really cool is they can communicate with those roommates as well. So they can, before you all move up, if you're like, I wonder who's going to be having like a toaster or like a TV, you know, so that way not everybody has to bring all stuff up. They can share stuff. They can kind of communicate what they're bringing up and coordinate that if they would like to. They can also do their room inspection forms on that app. Which means when they move in, they're going to kind of take a record of all of the spaces and mark down if there's anything that's damaged. We definitely don't want you or your student to be responsible for that. They can write that down and report it in there. And then they can also submit a maintenance request, which is how we tell our housing team, or your student tells the housing team that something is broken. Like my faucet is plugged and I need it to be unplugged. They'll come in, they'll submit a maintenance request. Our housing team will come in and fix that. So
Yeah. Another important step too is figuring out the meal plan situation for your student. Specifically in certain places on campus, it is required to have a meal plan, one of our housing meal plans, specifically the areas that do not have a full kitchen. It is optional in the other areas. Any other on-campus housing, you can also get these meal plans. And we understand that all students are going to have different needs for how often they want to eat in the dining halls. So we can adjust their meal plans up until 2 weeks after school starts, which is a great benefit too. Some people may want an unlimited plan and then they get here and they're not eating that much. So maybe they can reduce that. But there's a lot of different options, a lot of flexibility. And we'll talk a little bit more specifically about how those work and how the block meal plans work and the dining dollars and everything as well. So speaking of dining dollars, so dining dollars, again, are a really flexible way to pay for food on campus. It kind of just works like a prepaid debit card. You just load money onto it and they can only use it on campus for food. And they can use their USU ID to pay for that. All of the meal plan options, the block meals, the dining dollars, their meal plan if they're living on campus, those all are attached to their USU ID. So they don't really even have to carry a card or anything with them. It's just on their phone. It's great. It's really, really easy and simple. And generally they're not leaving their phone around, so they'll always have it with them. But the great thing about dining dollars, they never expire. Like I said, you can just load money on whenever you want. And again, it can only be used for food on campus. The great benefit of dining dollars, and really the reason to buy dining dollars, is you save 10% on every purchase. Any purchase at the dining locations, you get 10% off. So it can save a lot of money as well. And we have a new student special that we're going to talk about in a second after I cover block meal plans. So block meals can be purchased in 25, 50, or 75 blocks. And those are specifically for getting into the dining halls, specifically the marketplace and the junction. And again, just like the dining dollars, those never expire. They can be added at any time. And they really can also save a lot of money as well. Generally, if you're going to be working or eating in the junction or the marketplace, you're going to be paying like $16 to just get in. But if you can buy these blocks, you can save a lot of money, as you can see on here. If you get the 75 meal block plan, you can pay $12 a meal instead of that $16. So it's a really great way of saving some money. And then also, we have a new restaurant that's opening up reopening this fall called the Sky Room. It's in the Taggart Student Center. There are going to be some very specific dishes that they can use their block meals there as well. So.
And another cool thing about it is, and I think you mentioned this, they don't expire. So you could get them when they're first year student. Mm-hmm. They may not use all of them, but guess what? They're going to be good. You kind of, if you want to do the smart thing, is like maybe buy a block meal plan, and you're paying this year's rates. You know, even
that's
true
true
like down the road too. So that could be another but you can use those at any time at the dining, or
Yeah.
at the specific marketplace in the junction.
There's no stress about trying to use them all up before even before you graduate, because the dining dollars and the block meal plans can be refunded as well. And really, I didn't really say it yet, but the dining halls really are a great place for students to eat and hang out and also study. We have a lot of people that'll come in, they'll use their meal, for lunch, and then they'll sit and study, and then maybe they'll have another meal in the afternoon or evening for dinner. They don't have to swipe again. They can just stay as long as they want. It really is a great place to spend time. So let's talk about that deal that we have going on right now. So between now and August 30th, which is basically that first week of school, we are going to match the amount that you put on your card for dining dollars. So if you were to give them $25 of dining dollars, we'll give you free 2 block meal plans. And up until, if you give them $100 dining dollars, we'll give them 10 block meal plans, which is about $150, worth of meals. And it does cut off at $100. You can't do more than that, but it still is a really great deal. And it's a great way for your student to experience different dining options on campus. They can use their dining dollars at all the cafes and other smaller locations around campus that are everywhere on campus. Or, they can also use as block meals to try out the Junction and Marketplace. And maybe they decide they really like eating there and want to do more of that. And that way, you can spend some money on block meal plans and save some money, more importantly. Like I said, this offer is only valid until August 30th, and they need to be either purchased in person in the Taggart Student Center in the card office, or you can go over the phone with the number that's on this slide as well. So, and that'll get you in contact with our people. So let's talk about the details on the housing meal plans. Like I said earlier, these are specifically for if you're living on campus, and they are required if you're living in the following places: the LLC, Canyon Crest, Central Suites, Richards Hall, and Bullen Hall. Those places do not have kitchens, so at least not a full kitchen. I think they have maybe a microwave and a fridge. Is that right?
Yeah.
But they do not have an oven, so we do require that they purchase these meal plans. But anyway, the 3 options are listed here. The unlimited plan basically is what it sounds like. They can go into the dining halls anytime. The dining halls are, at least one of them is open anytime pretty much during the week. The Junction is open for breakfast every day, except for Saturday. And the Marketplace is open up until after dinner every day of the week, except for Sunday. And Junction's open all day Sunday. So yeah, there's always somewhere they can eat on campus for the dining halls. The unlimited plan also comes with $100 dining dollars, and those dining dollars do not expire. So those can still roll over. The semester 110, the semester 55, that's basically the amount of meals that you are buying. So the semester 110, 110 meals is basically 5 to 6 meals a week. So about once in the dining halls every day during the week. And then it also comes with $300 of dining dollars. And then semester 55 comes with 55 meals, which is about 2 to 3, maybe 3 to 4 meals a week as well. And like I said, there's a lot of flexibility here. And as I said earlier, they can change their meal plans up to 2 weeks after school starts. So, if they did, like I said, if they get the 110 or the 55, and maybe they decide they want to eat in the dining halls every day, all day, they can get the unlimited as well. So we can change that up. They just need to talk to the card office, either through the phone number that was mentioned earlier or in person.
There's also some tremendous opportunities to work with us and for student employment. Residence Life has 100+ student employees, and Dining has well past that.
Yeah, 300 plus.
And we're always looking for phenomenal students like your student to work with us. So the resident assistant position, it's definitely a little bit high stress at times. It's definitely not for everybody, but if your student really is passionate about like helping other people and kind of just helping plan large scale events and things like that, this could be something that's really, really cool for them. And as part of their pay, they get a private room in the community that they're going to be resident assistant over. They also get a monthly stipend and an option for a meal plan. And then it's a tremendous resume builder. And we're going to be opening our application process for next spring semester, so spring 26, starting in January. That application process is going to open in October, so people can start applying for that. It's very competitive too, because we have like 100+ student supply and I think, but if they want to have a higher chance of securing maybe one of those spots, not guaranteed, of course, but getting engaged and involved within the community and helping out, like helping the resident assistant with planning large scale events and things like that, getting involved in their student leadership group within their communities. That could be a tremendous thing, because essentially that's a large part of what they would be doing as a resident assistant anyway. So
Yep, yep. Yeah, and dining, we're also like Matt said, we are hiring a lot of people. We're always hiring a lot of people. We have 300, 400+ students in the fall semester that we have working for us. And one of the great things about working for dining is just our flexibility. We understand that your student comes first and their priorities as far as going to school come first. So we pride ourselves in being able to work around their school schedules. You know, a lot of times students will have an hour where they're working and then they have a couple hours off, or sorry, they have an hour of class and they have a couple of hours off and then they have to go back to class and et cetera, et cetera. And it can be just really hard to work with a lot of companies and stuff trying to get that schedule working with their work. So we want to help them with that as much as possible. You know, we can fit them in those little spots that they have throughout the day, so they can go to class and they can work and then they can eat and then they can go back to class. Whatever works best for them, we can work with. And we don't have any specific amount of hours they have to work. You know, if they want to work 5 hours a week, great. If they want to work 30 hours a week, we can do that too. Whatever works best for them, we want to help them with. And one of the great perks of working in dining too is any day that they work, they get a free meal. And they can use that free meal at any location on campus. They can go to the Junction Marketplace, they can go to any of the cafes, the food court, a lot of options. But they get a free meal, which is obviously a great bonus to them and helps with that food insecurity as well. And we always have good growth opportunities in dining as well. We have lots of different kinds of jobs, but from there, we also have leadership positions and other positions where they can learn some really good life skills, and also, you know, build their resume. We want them to get the experience that they need to go out into the real world later. So let's see. So we understand you probably have questions about things. This is probably the best way to get answers to those questions. You can always contact the contact list here for housing, residence life, or dining. Contact them through email or call them. We also have newsletters for dining that they can sign up for, that you can sign up for, to give you any information you need.
excellent. We're looking forward to seeing your student up here on campus in a few short weeks.
Yep. Thanks.